powerful glasswork with superior impact from Mike Tonder, Oeuvre magazine, Duluth's Arts magazine, and music from the Clearwater Hot Club.
Funding for the playlist is provided by the citizens of Minnesota through the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
Our music guests tonight groove on a combination of gypsy jazz and swing. Please welcome Sam Miltich and his Clearwater Hot Club to the playlist. Clearwater Hot Club live in the studio, and we'll hear more music later in the show. Now, Mike Tonder channels the power of Lake Superior to form quietly powerful pieces of art. The Two Harbors artist fuses recycled glass into sculptures that gently command attention.
I think over the years people have always gone to the water, to the shore, to contemplate things. It helps put things into somewhat of a perspective and gives you a calm, quiet place to think. And that's what I wanted to create there in that space. And it was the additional challenge because it could be viewed from fairly close or quite some distance. When you're up in that second floor, you can see it from a long ways away. I'm Mike Tonder. I'm a kiln formed glass artist from the city of Two Harbors. What I'm doing here is I'm cutting roughly a 2-inch wide strip and then splitting it with this curved line. You can sort of notice too just how the color starts changing. Some of the beauty of glass is that the interaction with with the material and light just changes it all the time. I mean, just in the course of a day, the way the light hits it will change. The pieces are laid flat on their back when they're going to be fired, and then they may, fold one way or the other, but I know by setting the stage for that, I'm going to get some motion. Glass is, I think people see it as sort of a harsh, unforgiving material, but there's that soft stage of it where it's totally malleable and workable. Yeah, that's a good piece. This will probably be the top of the piece here, particularly because I like this little drip that's going over this way. Yeah, that should work. I'm going to make the first cut right about there. I want to get at least some feeling that I can do it technically, and then from that point on, then I start working on the aesthetic part of it. So now I have piece number one, piece number two, put them together, and it's sort of that continuous line just going right around there. And I'll just do a little sandblasting to get those two edges, these little edges to line up. And I think it's going to work. All of them are decorative pieces, but having something that relates to a functional piece becomes a good entry point for people to say, oh, it's a bowl. Well, I don't know if I can make a good living, but I can make a darn good life. And I think that's a real important thing for young artists to see. And once you have your skills and you've bought your tools, I mean, there's always something you can do. I like it.
Well, it's the beautiful things that inspire our next guest. He's the founder and designer of Oeuvre magazine. Dennis Kempschen is here in the studio to fill us in. Welcome, Dennis.
Thank you, Karen.
I'm excited to be able to talk about Oeuvre. I've been looking at it online, and for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, kind of fill us in. What's it about?
It is an arts lifestyle publication. It sort of evolved from being an online arts journal with short fiction and poetry and photography, and we expanded over the last 2 years to include things like fashion and home and garden and all the things that really make up what we consider an artistic lifestyle, and validating the identity of an artist in every person who is interested in the clothes they put on their backs or what they do in their kitchens. It's all artistic expressions, and we value that in the publication.
I think it really gives us a chance to explore that and to consider where art is in our lives, which is really fun. It also has a little bit of performing arts advice.
Yes, we tap into the native population here, actors, singers, musicians, and people who are on the stage, ballet dancers, and we tap into them to help connect with the audience if they're interested in being in a play or being in performance, helping them connect with their personal stories to encourage them in the arts.
We do have a couple of screen captures of what your website looks like, and it's really fun to navigate because you can go to those kind of profile pieces, or you can, if you're really passionate about fashion, you can go there, or if you're looking to see what does Duluth have to offer for dining or whatever. It seems to be pretty easy to navigate. It's
comprehensive, and that's the primary focus of the site. We like to make it user-friendly. It's worth nothing to anyone if they can't navigate it, and we do offer a complete arts experience. With the site, people can look at where they want to have dinner or drinks before or after a show, and it is easy to navigate, and that's important to us.
That's kind of fun. Now we're looking at a couple of covers of kind of the shorter kind of, I don't know, what do you call them? Lookbook is one thing I would call it, but
yeah, they're digital editions. We offer them online. They flip like a magazine would online. It just offers a print experience online for people before we hit with our print issue in March.
Tell me a little bit about this. Having an actual magazine in my hand is kind of fun.
Right, we do acknowledge that. It didn't start out that way, but we thought it was the next progression in the growth of the publication. People do like to see and feel tangible media, and we recognize that, and we're going to print exclusive content every 4 months or quarterly, 4 times a year, stuff that will be exclusive to the print magazine.
Okay. And how do you subscribe, or how do you find it? Where will I see one of these?
We have a link online. It's for people to subscribe to the publication, and we will have it delivered to them.
I think that's really exciting.
I'm excited about it.
Okay, we have one more thing to talk about, and that's the Oeuvre Awards.
Yes.
You want to touch a little bit on that?
We are moving into our 2nd year of the Oeuvre Performing Arts Awards, and thanks to Jack and Jace and Seiler and everyone at Security Jewelers and Rose and Steve Kenningsberg, we were able to underwrite the event for the community. It honors people in the performing arts. We do award them statues that are provided by Security Jewelers, and it's a good way to give back to everyone who contributes to the artistic culture of the Northland. They put in very long hours for they get personal enjoyment out of it, and they entertain us. But it's nice to give back to them in the community and recognize their tremendous efforts.
So I look at it as almost the Duluth Tony Awards.
Sort of.
And some people don't even recognize how the quality of the performing arts that we have here.
It's a very high quality. It's a tremendous community for the arts, for the size of the city that we have and the size of the area, Duluth Superior region. And it's just a wonderful place to be. I encourage people to come up from the Twin Cities and see what's going on here. It's a tremendous breadth of town. There's always something going on in the performing arts community here.
Well, thank you for being a part of it and giving us an online way to see it, and soon an in-print way to see it. I think that's great.
Yes.
Cool. And good luck on the launch. And I want to remind you, you can find Oeuvre Magazine online at oeuvremagazine.org, and check out Oeuvre's Facebook page for the results of the 2nd Annual Theater Awards. We'll be back in a minute.
When I get past on the highway, past on the sidewalk too, I'm going back to the country to pass a little time with you.
Charlie, if there's a real deal, is the real deal. And Charlie spent the time playing this music. He's been playing it for years. He understands it. He studies it. He's in awe of it, and it's really become one with him. He wanted to do a gospel record, and he had Emily Parr already singing on there, and a couple other people playing, and he just invited us to come sing along. Charlie records very simple. You just set up, get the mics going, and play the song usually once, and you move on to the next song, and that's how it went. You know, I was around, and Nim showed up a little later.
He's very just, yeah, you know, you're here, do what you want to do, we got this, and we looked around and we found a couple different drums and we tried them out, and it was just very casual, and yeah, it was fun.
So it went by really quick, but that's the way Charlie rolls, and I'm really happy with how it turned out.
You can find out more about the things that you see on our show and leave your suggestions on our website, theplaylistonline.org. Now, please check us out on Facebook for the latest updates, and you can always follow along on the Twitter account. Now, please welcome your suggestions, send them along, and I want to tell you about the artwork in our studio tonight. It comes from Sarah Brokey. She's a local abstract portrait artist whose new work captures some of the creative people she's encountered here in Duluth. Her show of new work opens at the Zeitgeist Atrium on Superior Street Saturday evening and will be up through January. And now, please welcome back the Clearwater Hot Club. is just sweet. Thank you. You know, I think the crowd is liking it too. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't bust into applause after these beautiful solos.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the playlist, Sam Miltich.
Well, it's great to be here. Thanks for having us.
Well, thanks for coming over. And will you, as the band leader, introduce your bandmates?
Yes, certainly. Yes, we have Mr. Matthew Miltich here on the upright bass, and Mr. Gary Schulte on violin, and my good friend Mike Miller on drums.
Well done. All right. All of you are very accomplished on your instruments. I mean, it shows just how beautifully tight this music fits together.
Well, thank you.
Tell me a little bit about the style and how demanding it is.
Well, you know, we sort of blend Latin sounds. Like that last tune was a bossa nova with gypsy swing, which is was founded by Django Reinhardt, and then of course we do some American bebop. So we're kind of blending all those different styles, and it's very technically demanding, and have to know various rhythms to play with, but you know, when you're playing with guys like this, it just makes it easy. So.
And so, what appeals to you? I mean, how did you imprint? You know, you're not listening to whatever the Rolling Stones here. I mean, there's probably in there somewhere.
You know, I'm not entirely sure why I love this music so much. I guess it feels sort of organic with the acoustic instruments, and it feels sincere and authentic because it's not overproduced, and you know, it's sort of this wonderful combination of the driving rhythms of jazz, but with sort of the beauty of you know, the acoustic sound of the guitar. So it's a lot of different things, but it just really reaches me, and eventually it doesn't really matter why. It just matters that it is. So.
And you wrote this piece. You
Yes.
wrote all three of the pieces we're hearing today.
Yep, that's correct. Yep, that piece was the last piece you heard was titled La Bossa du Grand Marais. I wrote it in a hotel room in Grand Marais, Minnesota, between gigs. And the other piece I wrote last year, and that was, I think, the first time we performed it was for this show, so it premiered. And we have another piece that I wrote that you'll be hearing later in the program.
I was curious. I asked earlier, is it improvised, you know, when you do a solo, or is it all written out? How does that work?
In jazz, you know, sort of the key to what I would consider good jazz is the quality of improvisation. And the first time through the tune, we play the melody, and that's sort of a jumping off point for the improvisations. The chords stay pretty much the same, but the improvisations, they change from chorus to chorus. So.
And want fun to work with this caliber of musician.
Absolutely. I'm very, very lucky to know all of these guys. So.
Yeah, very cool. And, well, I think you all work well together. So I'm holding one of the recordings. Tell me about the recordings that are out there.
Yes, I have many recordings. I'm not going to be able to remember all of them, but our latest disc is Louisiana Fairy Tale, which we recorded a few years ago on my dad's place up at the farm north of Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Recorded it in the living room, and it's very much in this style, and in fact, La Bossa du Grand Marais is on this CD, and another CD that has this hot club style is called May Rain, and that also has the next waltz we'll be playing here on the program.
And the best way to find that is go to your website.
Yep, my website, very simple. It's www.sammiltich.com, just my name.com.
Okay.
So.
Excellent. Okay,
Yes.
and last questions are about next gigs coming up. You're playing tomorrow here in Duluth?
Yep, we are. We're playing for Lake Superior College for opening of a new building tomorrow, and then we'll be at the Grand Rapids VFW from 7 to 9 for the Grand Rapids First Friday Art Crawl.
So that's every First Friday
in
Grand Rapids?
Every first Friday, and then we play every Wednesday from 7 to 9 at the Grand Rapids VFW. So if you're in the neighborhood, stop on by. It's a wonderful crowd that shows up there, and very friendly and very fun.
And you told me the highest compliment we could pay you is to dance in the studio.
Absolutely.
So it's okay to dance.
Absolutely. Dancing is the highest compliment for me as a musician. It means I've truly moved someone then.
Okay, so it's okay if they dance and hoot and holler just
Absolutely.
a little bit?
Yep, that's just fine.
What else is nice about your website is you have a calendar where I can look ahead. You'll be at the Brew House here in Duluth in February.
In February, yep.
You have a few gigs in the Twin Cities coming up?
Yep, I'll be playing in the Twin Cities on the last weekend of January with a wonderful guitarist who teaches at St. Thomas named Joan Griffith, and special guest Connie Evingson, who of course from the Northland, from Hibbing originally. So yeah, we get around the state quite a bit, so watch our website and you can see where we are, and we hope people come out and support live music in the northern half of the state.
Yeah, you know it. Well, thank you for coming here, and I know you have one more for us. Now, as you make plans for your weekend, remember to go out and explore the arts and live music, and thanks for tuning in tonight. Gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Funding for the playlist is provided by the citizens of Minnesota through the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and by viewers like you.